All right, let me tell you something I've learned from my own personal experience. When people idly sit by and don't participate, it allows illness or corruption to spread, eventually to the point where nothing can be done. I have, or we have, no personal stake in the lives or the freedom of the people who are trying to corrupt our system. I also realize that if they're not brought to justice and exposed, it's only going to allow the corruption to spread. How do I know this? Because I have experienced this in my own life. And there became a point where nothing could be done. It's not as if the people who acted in a dishonorable manner are suddenly going to grow a conscience or remorse overnight for the things that they did and stand up in a public manner and say, hey, things aren't as they seem. This person didn't deserve the blame, or that person didn't deserve the ridicule. It all comes back to a certain individual. Dishonor or a lack of integrity only breeds more of the same. And like I said before, it's something that I had to learn the hard way. But learn it I did. And it's at this point up to everybody else to learn and understand themselves before it's too late. And we are left collectively out in the cold with no backup. Because I'll tell you something else I learned from personal experience. It's entirely possible and more than likely the people that say are on your side are not going to come to save the day. So let me clue you into something you may or may not know. And it surrounds the coronavirus. I don't know how many of you ever looked into the theory of Planet X or Nibiru, but it's well established that they would never inform the population as to what was going on because of the fact that the population would panic and the world economy would collapse and things would descend into chaos that much quicker. The exact same thing applies to this most recent outbreak of the coronavirus. Do you honestly think they're going to come out and tell the world of what a possible threat that this could be to a huge section of the population? Highly doubtful. Because if the rest of the world starts to shut down in panic, it'll grow just like the pandemic that looms at our doorstep. And that's where the comparison comes in, actually, between what I've experienced personally and what we're seeing today. No one's coming. You want to be safe, you want to have an opportunity to survive it or last as long as possible. That's not up to anybody else. That's up to you. Will you be smart enough to put up some kind of food and water? Will you be brave enough to go out and purchase a firearm and ammunition just in case you have to protect it? And are you prepared to make the hard choices that go with a situation like we might be facing. And I'll even let you in on another little personal secret. I am totally prepared to leave the people who have betrayed their own words by their actions and deeds to their own fate. Because I ain't coming to save them. Because I couldn't rely on them when things were going smoothly. There's no way in hell that I'm willing to throw logic out the window and think that I'm going to be able to rely on those same people when things are all sideways, chaotic, and upside down. So I'll be more than happy to try and limp through it on my own. And maybe later on, try and help out and or save those that are worth saving. Because those other people, they failed the test. They've already proven that they're in it for themselves and not morality, not humanity, not integrity, and definitely, in my experience, not honor. I'd love to think that eventually humanity is all going to join hands in the name of love around the world, solve all of the world's problems. But unfortunately, given the experiences of my life, in my opinion, more than likely, it's going to come down to dog eat dog and survival of the fittest. And counting on those that weren't willing to stand by you in the past may very well be the instrument of your doom. And I'll admit it, it sounds hard, it sounds cold, and some might even say a little bit jaded. But I've seen people at their worst and endured everything they've thrown at me. But I'm not willing to put blinders on and throw out every lesson I ever learned because of it. And I'm certainly not willing to put my own personal faith or spiritual well-being in the hands of people who said they had my back, but didn't. So maybe as you're out there stocking up on the things that you should be stocking up on, you might want to think about the people who said they were with you, who said they were going to back you up and didn't. And the people who were true to their words and did the things that they said they were going to do. And evaluate what your chances just might be should it all turn sideways and upside down. I'll even let you in on another little secret. God wants to help us. But in the end, just like any parent or father would want for their children, he expects them to be able to save themselves. And does that present a dim view of the world? I don't know. But I'll acknowledge that it does reflect a pretty dim view of the state of affairs of humanity, or lack thereof.